The Baby in the Biscuit Tin, written by Cathy Lavelle, narrated by Colette Redgrave. Chapter 1. A baby's screams shook the building, and I leapt from my narrow bed. "Tommy!" I screamed. But Tommy was cast away in the darkness far from this place. The screeches were coming from further down the corridor, blood-curdling sounds which threw me into a panic. My room was up in the tower, in the northwest corner, with a small window and a view across the whole countryside, hills and harbour. The door to all my past life had been slammed behind me. For a while I heard nothing but an eerie, frightening noise in the steeple. There were earth-piercing cries of wailing women in the night, hurried footsteps and angry, unintelligible exchanges between nurses and patients. Where were the loving arms that had always been there to comfort me when I woke in the night? There was only the wind across the moor and down to the sea, shrieking an eerie song over some neglected tombstones without names. In a frenzy, I wiped a mass of sweat from my face with my nightgown. I got on my knees and wept uncontrollably. My body was bathed in sweat, and a pang of fear went through me. There was a scene from my own book, not yet put down on paper, but written deep in my consciousness. I couldn't read or write then. You could call me illiterate. Father kept me at home to help on the farm, and each time I returned to the village school I was chided for my backwardness, and often got the cane and was left standing in a corner holding up my blotted copybook. After a year or two, I stopped going altogether. "Be quiet!" an angry voice yelled from further down the building. There were sounds of footsteps down the hall, angry voices, and then stillness. I found out later about the tranquilizers. This brought a ghost-like stillness over the place, and later, how much later I have no idea, I came to myself with a start of fear. I was alone, and I could hear no clash or cries, only the sound of a low moaning from another room made weirdly hollow by the wind. How long this lasted I have no idea, for a blankness took over. In my sleep I relived the events of the first day when I was handcuffed and dragged from my home. The small group stood in silence outside the farm door. "We have to do this." Father Lynch's voice still thunders in my ears. "There is no other way. You are a danger to yourself. You need treatment." I am the most dreadful, shameful failure, I thought. Night fevers conjured up all sorts of visions, with high walls around, threatening to curse me, doors bolted against the world. I was looking at a life that was bound to be spent alone in this place without intimate companionship, but I just wanted to be with my family, to hold my sister, to feel Nana's warmth around me. I was overtaken suddenly by memories of Tommy. It was a pain so deep I felt it through my whole mind and body. My eyes were swollen with red blotches on my cheeks and neck. That night, everything had lost its meaning. I only felt a longing, a loneliness, and a great loss. Gradually I slept restlessly as the wind squalled and rattled the slatted barns in the farmyard. It was a long night. Every night was long. The days were long. What was my crime? I asked myself this question over and over again. How had Father Lynch been allowed to decide my fate? He was the judge, the jury, and the prosecutor. In my nightmare, I saw Uncle Johnny, lips curled with contempt as he grabbed me and pushed me down despite my pleading. Afterwards, I crawled through dark shadows between the thick heather branches. My forearms bled from the scratches, but I felt no pain. I just had the urge to run and run forever. I would spend my life paying for a hideous crime that someone else had committed.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?